Hello, who's this?
Hello, Sameer.
Yes, Samir is here. Who is this?
Yes, Sameer, an engineer.
Yes, Samir, who is an engineer, is here. Who is this?
Sameer, an engineer who is an author.
Well, that's me exactly. Is it a prank or something? Who is it exactly?
Uh, I am calling Sameer, and I am also Sameer. What's confusion is going on here?
What is the confusion?
Can someone sort it out?
Hey guys, confused? So
Oh,
we
hi,
have
Sid.
hi Samir and hi Samir.
Hi.
So we have two of our authors here, Samir Saxena and Samir Kumar. And to clarify out this confusion, both of them have the same first name. Both of them are engineers. One of them is a banker. One of them is aspiring to be a banker. I hope so. And we'll be talking to them about their books. Samir Saxena had his book out in the beginning of the month, and Samir Kumar's book is coming out next month. So so first of all, we'll ask them to introduce themselves one by
Thank
one.
you, Sid. To clarify the confusion, there are a lot of confusions going on. Sometimes I join Insta Live of some authors or, readers. They welcome me. Hi, we have Samir Kumar, author of the original Martin Cooper and Murder Before Carnival. So there is a lot of confusion. Thank you for that.
That the same thing happens to me.
So let us start by introducing. So सबसे पहले clarification कर लेंगे हम लोग. So Samir Saxena, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity, Sid. I am Samir Saxena, and I am an engineer, as we have discussed. And I am working as an assistant manager in UCO Bank for 3 years now. And meanwhile, I've also written my first novel, Sunset by the River, which is released this month. And thank you for great response. It's doing pretty well. And yes, here we are discussing everything about my book and Samir's book, Samir Kumar's book. I'll say him Kumar. And let's discuss it. It's going to be fun, I guess.
So hi everyone. This is Samir Kumar. I'm author of Murder Before Carnival. It's an upcoming novel which will be launched in October. It's a very interesting. It has a very interesting premise, wherein a body was found inside an idol during the celebration of Durga Puja. And we know that Durga Puja is in next month, so perfect October entertainment. And apart from that, currently I'm pursuing my MBA from IIM Ranchi, and Phoebe Buffet happens to be my favorite character from Friends. So that would say a lot of things about me and also some of my introduction. Thank you.
Wow.
Great. Uh, let us structure it this way. We will have Samir talking to Samir for a while, and then I have some questions. So I'll take them in the later part of the conversation. So Samir, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Sid. So we are discussing Samir versus Samir. So Samir, Kumar, I'll say you as Kumar.
Right, right,
I heard you have written your first novel. Back in it was released in 2016, right?
right, right, right.
The Origin of Martin Cooper. It's
Hmm.
a science fiction.
Right.
Wow. I mean, you were, quite young that time, and you were writing for how many years?
9 years. I took 9 years to complete
Wow,
it.
great, 9 years. And I guess you might have started around 2008 or 2009, right, during school days, I guess. So
Yeah.
how
We have a technical issue, I think, on Samir's
oh,
end.
edit कर देंगे मेरे को कॉल आ गया था एक
Acha.
Okay.
ये पार्ट एडिट कर देंगे हाँ so how did that idea came so early of science fiction? I'm
Right.
really amazed to know.
Right. So in fact, I always also brought the book to show you guys. This was the book. You know, I loved the cover the
Wow.
first time I saw it. And see, I'll tell you the story. There are two mutually existing stories to this. And the
Okay.
first is, as a child, I was not allowed to watch cartoons much. So what
Oh my.
happens is, just during food time, I was allowed to watch cartoons, and after that, mom used to switch off the cartoons or the TV. Then I used to write my own cartoons. So that is why my first work had a fantasy element to it. Okay. And the second story is, I was always captivated by the idea of God. Because, my first work is not mythological, but it has an element of God, which tries to understand why God actually created us, or if there is he, she, or it, what is he, she, or it getting out of it. So I was, right from a very small age, I was intrigued by this question, why we have been created, what he's getting out of it. And I have researched a lot of things, right, even from mythological and from religious stuff to even quantum mechanics and cosmology and things. So that is why
Wow.
it took me 9 years. And also, I had dropped this idea of writing, but we were shifting houses. My dad works in sale, and he was shifting houses. And when we were shifting houses, I saw the draft of a lot of cartoons and a lot of research work that I had done in the junk. And when it came to my hand again, I thought, well, I have to complete it. And that is also the reason, why it took me 9 long years to write it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
I
I'm
have I
really
have a question. I have a question for you, Samir, Saxena.
okay.
And that is,
Success.
the title of your novel is quite interesting, Sunset by the River. So how did you come up with this particular title, first of all? And if you could just also tell us, how you came across this story.
Yeah, this question, a lot of people are asking me this question, and I'm really happy that it's creating so much interest from the readers and everybody. For speaking about title, when I started writing this story, Sunset by the River, back in 2015-16. So I didn't had any idea in my mind. I started writing from the scratch as it is, and I was mainly focusing on the plot and the characters and the narration. I was not bothered about title or the character, even character names. So I've written quite an maximum part of the story without the title. And
Okay.
when I started brainstorming about character names and the title, I was somewhere around 60-70% through the book, through the
Hmm.
story. So there was a part where the main characters Tripti and Anand are sitting somewhere in the city, and from that part there is a scenic beauty of sunset. It's visible, and they are experiencing all the emotions of their past, of their present, and they are feeling everything from friendship, heartbreak, misery, love. That's when I thought, when I was writing that passage, that part of the story, that's when I thought, yes, I think this should be the title, which can depict the story in a way. So that's how I came up with the title, while
There's
writing it.
something very interesting that you said. That and I found something contrasting between the way you write and the way I write. And that is, you said that you gave a lot of importance to the plot, right? And then, but what I do is, it's actually interesting to see different ways of writing. I
Yeah,
like to create characters first. And I like to create the outline of characters, what kind of
yeah,
temper they would be having, or simple aspects of their characteristics, like what would they do when they wake up, how would they
yeah.
sleep, that those things, that's the outline I make, and I let them live. And the
To-
story starts coming up from them. So that's
yeah,
quite
totally.
interesting. And
I can
again, please,
totally relate.
Right. And
Totally
I have
related.
one more question to you. Like
Samir,
we write.
before
Yeah.
you go
Ah,
ahead, I have a
Asim,
small anecdote about the Sunset by the River and the title and the cover.
Yeah.
Once
please.
you read the story, you know,
Hmm.
when you read the last chapter, you actually realize the reason why the title and the cover is that way. And
Hmm.
when I was going through the book, I could not understand, why he has actually put the title or the cover in this manner, because it did not happen. Nothing happens related to the title or the cover. But once you turn
Hmm.
the last page, you realize, yes, that's
Hmm.
the point of the title and the cover.
Right. Right. Right.
Really,
I'm
really
sure.
glad,
I am the first person to buy his book.
Yeah,
And
you,
I'm the first
I
person.
and
But I'm so sorry, Saxena. I'll tell
no,
you that Siddharth, you would agree with me. MBA life is very difficult, and we don't get much time to read. So I've not been able to complete it, but I'll surely complete it and give you my review. But
even
to
I am,
add to my,
I am in the process
yeah,
of,
please go ahead. Right.
starting Martin Group. I really intrigued by what told. I'm also, inspired by cosmology and stuff which you have
Yeah.
told.
Then you
And there are
should. Then
quite
you should. Yeah.
similar things between us. Not the name, not the degrees, not the
Yeah.
things we are doing. There are a lot of common things, and I'm really,
This, yeah. So there's one
appreciative.
more
So
question that I wanted to ask.
yeah,
From what you were saying, and that was that we as a writer, we write a lot of things, but at what point do you think that this is the one that I have to complete and get it published? Because not everything that we write motivates us. So
exactly.
I'll tell you like mine. I have lots and lots of drafts in my laptop. I have written so many things, but after writing, let's say 20,000, 30,000 words, I'm like, this is not no longer motivating me to write. And that is why the reason, it took me 4 years, from 2016 to 2024 years to come up with, this work. So how did you, at what point did you think, Sunset by the River, I'm going to get it published?
Totally relatable, even I have many ideas, lying in my laptop, and I'm not able to, even start some of them. There are some scratches and bits of it
Right, right.
I've written. So I have the experience of Sunset by the River. When I
Hmm.
started writing about this, the story was not clear in my mind. I had to write about the idea, about the theme, which was very
Right.
important to be discussed in our society, and I had to
Hmm.
come out with that because there were certain things happened with people I have come across from a
Okay.
person. So I had to write about it because it was really, uh, touched me. It caught me because
Hmm.
the things they have experienced were, terrible. So I had to come out with it. So for Sunset by the River, it was the starting point for me. That incident which triggered it.
Hmm.
And
Right.
now that I have completed this, I am totally in your mind. Which story should I start? I have quite
Right.
a bit
Right.
of ideas.
Right.
Which should I write? I have also a sci-fi idea, and I'm really
Right.
excited to write about this because being an engineer and lover of cosmology and the universe, I'm fascinated by the sci-fi stuff. So this, I think, this will trigger me to
Right.
write
Maybe
something
we can
in
collaborate
future.
on that also.
Wow, that would be
In fact,
fantastic
yeah,
for me.
that is what I was going to suggest, a collaboration between both of you.
Because I'll tell you,
Yes, it's
I'm Samir Kumar, he's Samir Saxena, and how we met was also very interesting. We are in the same
yeah,
group, and it's like no one was talking much on that particular group, but only it was Samir Kumar and Samir Saxena who were
just to
talking to
introduce
each
them.
other. Yeah, and that is when I got to know that there is something in this name Samir, which is common globally, that
Not
we
just
people just connect.
the name. There are a lot of common things are coming out every
Exactly,
and
exactly,
starting
exactly.
to interact with each other. So Samir,
Yeah,
Kumar,
yeah,
just I have to really ask you something. That
yeah. Please, please.
now that you have written sci-fi first, and now
Right,
you have taken a step further to write a murder mystery. uh,
right.
so from 2016 to 2020, from sci-fi to murder mystery, and from working in Tata Steel to experiencing the IIM culture. What lot
Right.
has changed in these 4 5 years? Can you
Right.
share with us?
So, right. So I'll tell you that things have been a roller coaster ride for me. Okay, because I was struggling for 4 days to write 4 years to write one novel. So because I was not getting a good idea, a good topic to write on, something to motivate me. And I always remembered, I'm a person who takes criticism very positively. Okay, if someone was criticizing my last work, then I take it very positively and try to imbibe it. And there were also people who liked it and wanted me to write on certain genres. If they wanted me to introduce a strong female character or write something from a female perspective. So I have taken all those criticisms and all praises, of course, and also people who suggested me things, then I collaborated into this particular work. So, and also to come up with on the lighter side, what has changed, I think number one, Facebook has changed. Now, why I say this is that last means like in 2016 when I came, I had a good read of friends established on Facebook. Now, after 3 years in 2020 when I came, I saw that Facebook is no more what it used to be. It's totally garbage now. Out of the 10 posts, 8 posts are ads. So I had to build everything from scratch. Everything. Facebook was no more a place where you could market your book or tell
Yeah,
about your book, because it's,
agree.
it's it's of no use. So that has changed, number one. Second thing, I personally have got a lot of clarity in my life what I want to do. So when you have a clarity in your personal life also, then a lot of things, even writing, becomes very clear to you. What you want to write, how you want to write. Otherwise, you're jumping from one place to another. So that has changed, and the best thing that has happened in these years is that my sense of humor has improved. So that is the best thing that has happened.
Chandler,
But
right?
I have one question to you. You're a banker, and your banking job is very difficult. And even during demonetization time, you must have faced a lot of course, a lot of extra working hours and all. So
Yeah.
how did you, because writing is an activity, it's not a one day thing. So how did you take, or how still do you take out time to write an novel?
When I joined the bank, initially I was first I joined in another bank, Punjab National Bank, in 2016. I worked there for 1 year. Then I switched to my present, organization, UCO Bank. And when I joined in 2016, that's when demonetization happened.
Yeah,
And I was
right.
like, "Ye kya yaar?" There is a saying, "Sir, munate ole pade," that kind of thing. So it was a hectic year for me, 2016 to 2017, because I was new to banking sector. And that 1 year I hardly wrote anything on this story. I had the idea in my mind, but during initial year I wrote very few things. It was not that clear in my mind. And then when I joined UCO Bank in 2017, I got posted in a very rural area. It was away from the chaos, and the rush was moderate, very low, and compared to the other, banks and branches. So I got some time there. I had to travel 50 kilometers from my home to the branch office. And that's when I used to, think about the ideas and plot and characters. And after I, used to come back to home, and in the evening and night, then I, pen it down in my laptop
Hmm.
and save it. And that's how it happened during those 2 and 2.5 years. I wrote maximum part during that tenure and finished
So
around 2019.
like I have this question with what you said, that no, like I've also seen a lot of your Insta lives and all. But how important do you think is mental peace for writing? Like you can take holiday, and people say
Yeah,
that take holiday, go to a good place. But I think, even if you don't take holiday, if you don't go to a good place, if you are mentally peaceful, you can write. So, what are your views on these things?
Totally, in your perspective, because mental peace and the, you can say, freshness and freeness of mind is very important to write. You can't write a character, you can't write a plot line or storyline when a lot of thought was going around in your mind. You don't get that clarity. You may write, that's another thing, you may write, but you won't get that feel or that spark that this is the story which I want to tell. You
Right.
won't get when you are not, at peace with your mind. And that's what I feel you. I had quite of lot of times when I was not stable. You can say not in a shape to write anything because a lot of things going around in my mind. There were things happening around, so I had to shut it down for a while and do other stuff till I get, peace. So that's what happened. So Kumar, now that you are in IIM, right? You have
Yeah.
an IIM tag with you, and you will be, completing your MBA within, quite a span of time. You have
Right.
two books in your pocket now, and that
Right.
Murder Before Carnival is going to release. So, what are you planning to do next? Is it like another typical engineer turned MBA turned author? There is something else going in your mind.
You forgot banker. So engineer plus MBA plus banker, and
Yeah,
then
Venkat.
open.
It's also,
That's
I think it's also coming if he gets
yeah.
that opportunity.
Let's see where I land up. But recently I have been, struck, I would say, by the darkness in life and darkness in our lives that we don't much talk about, or is not much talked about. We say, like over here, I have talked a lot about the feminism aspect of it. So I am now, nowadays more inclined towards it, to write something that people can relate to, because with age you can say, you become more and more practical also. It was a
Yeah,
fantasy I wrote in
totally.
childhood. Right now I am becoming more and more practical. I'm looking a lot of things going on around. I, I'm actually very much inspired by Ruskin Bond. I'll tell you, he
Wow.
is my favorite author, because the way he actually finds the stories in simplicity, and he gives good messages. I don't know if you remember the platform, the Woman and Platform 8, but every single time I read that single story, I have different emotions. What we never get to know what the lady was thinking. So that's the beauty of the story. We never get to know. We can think on what the lady was thinking, what the child was thinking, what the other women came. But such stories inspired me. Even Arkinara and Malgudi days. So
Oh,
those things
fantastic.
have shaped my childhood, and I can see those things coming up. Even when I see barber cutting my hair. I don't remember who wrote this story. I see, that I try to find out stories in real life situations. So I'm very much inclined towards writing real stuffs and dark life stuff. And also I love horror. I love writing horror stuff. But I'll tell you one thing: I was inclined towards writing horror stuff. I was doing research work, a lot of research work, and I did so much research work that I don't know if you have heard this, but there are research work which says that if you always wake up between 2 to 4 o'clock, then there is a soul watching you, and that is why you are not able to sleep. Okay, so I researched so much on this that one night, I just opened my eyes and I saw two eyes looking at me. And I was like, nahi, ab isko band karna padega. It is too much research work going on. I have to take break. Nahi to bhoot dekhunga roz. So,
Really,
but
we would actually love to see that story coming out someday. अगर इतना research किया है,
yeah,
then that should
no,
definitely be a good one.
I'll write it, because I'm totally inclined towards writing it, and I've done a lot of research work, on tantric stuffs, and even Western, how they
Wow.
worship the moon and all. So black magic, the Western black magic, the Indian black magic. I've done a lot of things. So I'm looking forward. When also, there's one more thing in my pocket, that is the origin of Martin Kruger is a series actually. Okay, so the part
Wow.
two is also, yeah. So the part two is also pending, and I'm actually also working on that. Yeah, so these things are in my pocket. But Saxena, I have one question for you. That you are right now, you got your book published, right? So a lot of writers want to get published, right? So currently, because you are right now, you have published it and you have got such a good publisher this time. What are your biggest learnings? I would say biggest learnings right now, being an author, and what responsibility do you feel as an author? So there are two questions. What responsibilities you feel as an author, and what are your biggest learnings?
Biggest takeaway from my experience of getting published is that you 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 have quite a lot of platforms. You don't have to worry about getting published these days. I think you may agree with me. We have a lot of platforms, and there are quite amazing people I have met throughout my journey, from I think October 2019 to April May 2020, when I was searching for the publisher and the platform. I got amazing people whom I have met, and at a certain point, I was confused whom to go with. So uh,
Yeah, yeah,
hello,
go on, Samir. Yes, Samir, go on.
yeah, can you listen me now?
Yeah, yeah,
So
please go on.
that was my biggest takeaway from my journey, that we can get published, not easily, but yeah, we can get published. There are a lot of platforms we are having. And for strategy, which you can say, the message I can give to the authors or readers from my experience is, uh, write the story which you feel has inner spark. When you start writing
Hmm.
something, there are a lot of ideas which come to your mind, but there is that one idea which creates an inner spark within you, that yes, this is the story which I want to tell. This is the story which the reader must have to read. You have to write that idea with full dedication. You can have a lot of parallel ideas going on, you can write a lot of parallel stories, but there is one thing that creates an inner spark, that you have to give your 200%. And do not approach readers straight away. Like, from
Right.
my experience, I get a lot of people messaging me, yeah, please read this story, and like this kind of stuff. It's important to make readers aware of your story, but not that way. Readers have to pick their stories to read. We can't force them to read. And I'm lucky that I've got so amazing response from the readers.
Right,
So,
right.
Kumar,
So,
can you tell us
Samir,
one thing? Yeah,
Yes, please go ahead.
I have one question.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I was seeing that you have 599
It
copies that
it
right.
does
just sold on
600
Kindle.
now. I'm waiting.
Wow.
Who
So
got
it has
600?
that 600.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Kindle only.
Okay.
Paperback are I haven't counted on that.
Samir,
So there
yeah.
was an interesting competition going on for the 600th
Yeah.
purchase.
Right.
I'm still waiting for the who bought the 600 version. No?
No, if you are thinking of giving away something, I was the person who bought it.
Wow. Okay. Done.
So,
Just
so
DM
yeah,
me.
give me something.
I'll
I'll tell you some.
yes, Eddie.
Samir,
You
I'll
were
tell you
you
something.
uh,
Yeah, I'll tell you
was
something.
saying something, I guess.
Yeah, I'll tell you something pretty interesting to this
Okay.
to the thing that you mentioned. You know what I do, like what kind of stories I like to get motivated by, or how I'm motivated. Have you seen Friends? Tell me, have you seen? You know, Hello, Samir. Okay,
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
okay. So I was saying, that I try to write certain things that I also would read after 2 days or 3 days. something that you write and you yourself don't want to read it again.
Right.
Like see friends, I just I'm amazed with their writing, that you never bored. You can watch the same clip, the same episode 100 times, never bored. So writing should be something that you are also inspired to go and read it
Totally.
every time you want to.
Totally.
So right.
There are certain phrases in my story which I read again and gets kind of goosebumps, and that's what tell you that yes, this is a story which readers should read. So
Right.
I also want to learn something from you, as you are in a stage of completing your MBA. You might have read and studied quite a lot of strategy. So what can what can you make us learn, or teach us from the
Right.
strategies or marketing stuff which you have read from the your MBA? Because
Hmm.
MBA person happens to be a quite a reasonable person when it comes to marketing and managing things.
Right. See, I'll tell you. So, most of the things that we study in marketing, they are focused, that you have a lot of resources and things. But at our stage, we always have to focus on trial and error. Okay. So, trial and error is a must. You should try and see. And, Instagram is something very important where you can see the insights. Okay. Even
Yeah,
simple things like, which gender is more engaging, people from which place are more engaging. So, you can actually do some data analytics over there. I can actually explain you, how the data analytics. We have a software
I'd
called
love to
SPSS,
hear
but
that.
yeah, but we need not go into much detail. But I'll tell you certain learnings that I have, which are more than any marketing strategy. Okay, and that is number one. I have recently seen, and there has been a buzz a lot around that authors and writers in particular, they don't take criticism properly.
Yeah,
They,
totally.
they start bashing people that you're not
Yeah, we have recently quite a bit of
right,
incidents I've seen over
right,
there,
right. So we're
and
not naming anyone, but
we should avoid that.
people should take criticism properly, because it's a journey. The entire writing is a journey. Pen is a master and you are the learner,
I
right?
I've revised quite a lot. My final manuscript I've revised 2 or 3 times based on the feedbacks
Right,
I've got from the readers,
right, right,
and
right,
it really helps to take criticism in a positive manner.
right. Second thing I would say is that be social. Like I left the social platform for 3 years and I have to build it again. So if you are an author, even Samir, if you are a successful an author, and of course you will be coming out with your next book. So what may happen is that there might you can come up with the next novel in 6 months, or it would take you around 1 year or 2 years. It could, but be social. Keep
Yeah, it's
posting
very
few
important.
things, so that there is engagement and people, they see there's term called loyalty. Okay, so brand loyalty, shop loyalty, there are things that we read. So over here you can say book loyalty, author loyalty. So the span is very less, and the life cycle of one novel is less than 6 months. So people will
Oh,
forget your book, if you don't come up with the next thing. But people will at least remember you if you keep on posting something and be social. So this is
that helps. That
right,
really helps. Yeah, actually, what engagement is very important, not just
right,
to get the audience or readers, but also to improve you as a person. When you interact with a lot of people with wide range of personalities and areas, you get to learn something from them. So in that way, also I feel engagement and talking to people and being social is very important.
so Samit, like you have become so popular now, like you know your book has 600
I
copies,
don't
if
think
not
so.
I did still. Okay,
Okay, I can
so
take that.
The people don't get praise now, but if they are getting praise, they don't want to take praises. The thing is like, what suggestions would you give to me? Because like I'm coming after so long, I'm again like similar to a debut author. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what are your suggestions to me?
Look, I accept that I'm getting praises. I am really, touched with the response I'm getting from the readers. Uh, as I said, I'll only suggest to one thing, that keep on engaging with people a lot, because that helps. Not just talking about marketing or promotional terms. I'm talking to grow you as a person. When you, even before, I started writing since my school or college days. I had this habit to interact with anybody. Uh, I am a bit introvert. I talk less when I am with person to person. But with the advent of this
This
Facebook and
this
Instagram and
Saxena,
WhatsApp,
this
yeah,
term that you use now, you
uh,
introvert. I don't think people are introvert. People are selectively extrovert.
yeah, I agree with
You know,
you. You
because
in my case,
calling
in my case,
call. Yeah, please. Yeah, please
yeah,
continue.
Kumar. In my case, I will label it as a term called textrovert, which I've read somewhere. Yeah,
Good,
I
good,
love
good.
to text people rather than meeting and talking to them. And in that, it helps to make interaction more convenient for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can continue.
So what happens is, keep we if we text and interact with text or mails, people used to remember it for a long time, because they can go through it time to time. And if we interact face to face, it's very important to interact face to face.
True,
But
true.
for in my case, I prefer texting and call less than more than calling and meeting people. That's my personality, you can say. So it helps a lot. The more you'll interact, the more you get engagement, and people will find it easy to reach you.
So Samir, I have one question for you, Samir Kumar.
Okay.
So,
Kumar.
so your Instagram handle is Wizard
Right,
Rights.
right,
So,
right, right.
how did that come along? Do you have a story behind that?
Yeah. So I do a bit of magic tricks also. Like magic has also been, like I'll tell you a few things that I write because it gives me an escape from the reality. So it's kind of therapy for me. And other thing that's a therapy for me is magic. And I not much. I'm not that an expert on it, but I keep on trying a few things here and there. And that is why Samir, he already took author Samir, so I had no option.
Oh
I had to
God.
think something else. So I thought, what are the things that you know uh, that define me. So I thought I should take those things that give me some kind of belongingness when I'm not mentally fit. And that is why Wizard, because I do magic, and Writes because I love writing. That is how Wizard Writes came into being.
So, since you write your
Interesting
title
handle.
as Wizard, which of
Yeah, yeah.
the magic schools would you prefer going to?
Oh my god. um it's a tough choice. um but
I think Hogwarts is everyone's favorite. Everyone
no
wants to go to
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
No, Hogwarts is a magical school, but I was thinking of a clan. They had four clans. So
Houses.
yeah, the houses, I was thinking of the houses. So it's a tough choice,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you which choice I want to go with. um yeah.
I think you would fit better in Ravenclaw.
Like I have a very sweet spot for Harry Potter, and like Pogo was the channel where I used to watch Harry Potter as a child, and I used to fight with my brother. We used to have a hat. The hat, I don't remember which used to
The
define
Sorting
which
Hat.
house you will be. The sorting hat,
The Sorting
right?
Hat.
So we used to play a lot on that, and we used to have I and my brother used to have a lot of discussion on which clan we will go to. So it is even today it's a debatable topic which clan I'll go to and which clan he'll go to. But it's actually a very serious topic for me still today at this stage.
Agreed.
Right.
Samir Saxena, a part of your
Yeah.
story lies in Japan. So,
Yeah.
why did you choose this particular country?
Yeah, it's just the first time someone discussing it, and I am glad you asked it. Look, I had quite a span of time in Gurgaon when I completed my engineering. I got a job in Gurgaon for around 6 months. So the place where I used to work, it used to send few people for training purpose in Osaka, and there were my few of my colleagues who went there in Osaka for training of 2 to 3 months. So that's where it hit me that I can relate it. I can create something, and I took help from them. And thank you to Google Maps, which has helped me, to find the areas in which I can depict and create in the story. So as we I've discussed with someone, every story has a story in itself, and every story is somewhat some way or other inspired from author's life or person related to author's life. So that's how I came up with. I can write anything. I could have written USA or Britain, but it would not be. I could not justify the place because I did not had those resources back then. I had not had people to interact from those places. So I chose that place which I felt that I can get a help from someone to research. That's how it came.
There is a very interesting mechanical engineer element in the story,
Yeah.
which I won't name it because it would spoil the suspense. But it's a very very mechanical engineer thing, that he does in the middle of the story.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. Uh,
Yeah. Thanks.
so, Samir Kumar, your book which is coming
Right,
out, Murder Before Carnival.
right,
The cover
right,
is very interesting. You
right,
by seeing the cover, you can actually identify the very specific place where it is set. So, how
right.
much time it took for you to actually finalize this cover?
Okay, so see, the story is line is very serious, but the incidents that took place to define the cover is very funny. I'll tell you. See, the elements of Howrah Bridge and the yellow taxi had to be there, so that thing was there in my mind. But what other could be there? I was searching for a long period of time because it's a carnival, so I thought it could be a carnival. I could show a carnival, but that wasn't inspiring me. So I in the month of April, like in March we had a lockdown, and in April, it was the initial phase, the phase one, the 21 days were going on. And I heard about a man from, I think, from France he was, okay? And that man walked from France to Spain through the hilly mountains just to get cheap cigarettes. And I was like, oh my god, this is the story. And when I heard it, I thought it could be a strong lady. I wanted to depict a strong lady, and the smoking thing came from that. But I also wanted to show that smoking is not good for health, so I kept that smoke red. So those things came out to define the cover.
Yeah,
That's really
your
creative.
cover reveal was very interesting. You had an entire
Uh,
competition to identify
Right,
the murder weapon. So,
right.
would you like to, tell us on record what the murder weapon is, or do we have to read the book
No,
to find out?
no, no, not at
that
all,
was
not at all. That's the very essence, because see, the body is found inside an idol, so that's not a small thing. And when a body, a lot of technical aspects goes into it. I'll tell you, I have done an entire course on forensic science just for this
Wow.
particular novel, and I had to watch, dead bodies, throughout the night, the rotten bodies, the ant eating bodies, worms on the bodies, every single thing. And if you think deeply on it, if a body is inside an idol, why did no one smell it, right? So a lot of things go in, and the murder weapon is the biggest thing over there. So
Okay.
I cannot repeal that, but there's a lot of research work that has gone into it, and I personally believe that when you are writing such things, it should be backed by real data and real facts, and
Absolutely.
not something superficial that you make out. So I did a lot
Absolutely.
of research for that. And
I'm
at
really
nights at nights when I used to
interested.
see dead bodies, one day I just slept, and a video was going on of the dead body, and my mom came to switch off the lights, and she saw my screen and was like, ये क्या देखते रहता है रात में? Why does he watch dead bodies at night?
I
Oh my
think
god, that
that
is
was the
funny.
day when he woke up and saw the two eyes. I think that was the day.
No, no, that happened way
I,
back.
I'm a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes novel,
Right,
and I'm
right.
really, looking forward to read your story because
I'll
that
tell you
has a
something
certain.
interesting about Sherlock Holmes. The Sherlock Holmes getup that you see today, the pipe that he smokes today, that is very ionic. Sorry, ionic, right? And iconic, sorry, iconic. And the word elementary, that is very much attached to this character. These weren't in the original Arthur Conan novel.
uh,
The pipe and the word elementary, they weren't. They came out of plays. They were
They
plays
were,
that.
I think they were in a very small scene in the first novel, I guess. That first novel, which is Sherlock Holmes, a very small scene was there, I guess, when
Right, right.
they were starting their journey.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think I have, but that was not the major,
that
as you
that
Yeah,
said,
wasn't.
they
But
that was not major
yeah,
major
they actually
definition
took
of
it out
Sherlock
from
Holmes.
there and made it a part of every
Made it, yeah, made it
story
iconic.
right, right.
in
Every
all
play,
the
every theater, it
yeah
made a part of it, and that is how the word elementary and that pipe that became very iconic.
yeah.
Yeah,
So so since both of your books are out within a span of 1 month, Sameer Saxena's book is
Right.
out, Kumar's book is coming out. So would you? So we'll start with Kumar. So,
Yeah.
how would you describe your story in 3 words?
Well, let me see. 3 words. Um, Give me 4 words.
Okay, take four.
Okay. So I'll tell it, it's a tale of floating body.
Tale of floating body. Okay. Saxena, how would you describe your story in 4 words?
I will say in 3 words, you will learn. That's what I want to say.
Great,
You will learn something.
Wow.
great.
That's what I want to
So uh,
tell through this story.
That's interesting. So, when is your book
so
out? What's the specific date?
you're talking me now? Huh.
Yeah,
Kumar.
yeah.
So we have planned out like the first week would be for Kindle and the second week would be for paperback. That is what we have planned.
That's
Okay,
great. Wow.
Yeah.
that's here. That's
Right.
almost here. So first week,
Yeah,
as
it's
in
almost there.
first to seventh, or first week means first full calendar week. How are you planning it?
Uh, well, that's for the publisher to decide. Like when we are totally ready. But I have given my go through that we can go, any day on first week of October,
Okay,
because see it's matching with the Durga Puja month. So that is
Yeah,
why
correct.
we
that's
also
very
chose
pious
this.
occasion.
Yeah, and Samir, I had one thing to ask you, and even Siddhant can answer this. That why are so many engineers coming out in this particular platform of literature? We see the engineers jumping and becoming authors everywhere. Why do you think that such is a trend?
I'll give you a funny answer to this, Kumar and
Ha,
Sid.
tell,
You
tell.
know, and you both will agree with me. When our semesters approach, and we don't usually study throughout the semester, for the exams. So we spend 2 3 days before the exams, 2 3 nights. When we start writing the answers, that, that's where our writer mind kicks in. We narrate the
Oh,
answers like we are the most knowledgeable person on this planet.
oh my God.
And I think that's where a writer's mind kicks in into an engineer.
I
But
agree.
apart from that, the curriculum of engineering, the extracurricular activities in the college, the 4 years long span for an engineer, which is less than a doctor's span, but doctors are quite busy. They had a lot of course more than engineer. We have a lot of courses too, but we also have fun during our engineering. We have a lot of stories. Every engineer has a different story, hostel days, and you can say tours and technical visits. There are a lot of stuff, which an engineer experience throughout their 4 years. And I think that's where stories and narrations come into your mind.
What about you, Siddhant? What do you
I
think?
agree. I agree. Actually, and especially during the semester when we have less work, we get time to write, and
Yeah.
especially doing assignments, you get practiced on typing and writing. So
Yes,
that gives you an
absolutely.
incentive to actually,
You
go
know,
and
even the
write.
project report, we final year project reports which we make, no, there are 4 or 5 members in a project, but there is just one person who completely narrate the whole project report, and I was the person in my group, which completely typed the project report and narrated it. As you said,
Yeah,
yeah,
even the vivas
that's
are
what
the
makes.
same story.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you. I'll tell you an interesting incident about the Viva, but I'll give you my answer to that. Okay. So why a lot of engineers are getting into it, and that is it is a famous saying that engineers can do anything but engineering.
Correct.
Okay. So we can do anything, like anything. You can even become doctors, but not engineers. So this is one thing, and the second is like we are from mechanical, you're from civil. So there are not many girls in our batch, right? And we always dream that we will be one guy,
We
or we
should
will
have a character.
have a girlfriend someday. And so since everything is in our story, so we start writing stories.
Correct. Correct.
Right.
That's actually correct. This usually happens. So
And
yeah, yeah.
and
Continue,
and I
continue.
ha- I yeah, I wanted to say you one incident about the Viva that you mentioned. Okay, so we were having a Viva, and the teacher asked a question. And what happens in Viva is that when no one knows, like we used to have group Viva. Okay, so 5 people used to sit together for the Viva.
Mhm.
And when you don't when no one has the answer, so if whoever speaks, we listen to him or her carefully and try to bring out words and make our
Bring
own
out the
own answer.
answer to make the
Right.
answers right.
So the question of the teacher was, what is control statement? Okay, what is control statement? And none of us knew. And there was one person, and I call him Vinod. He is the actual Vinod of our batch. Okay, so what he said, we were all quiet. He said, "Sir," and we were like, "Oh my God, he has the answer, so we will be safe today." He said, "Sir, control statement is a very special kind of statement that helps us to control the statement." And we were like, "Acha." And then we saw the teacher. The teacher laughed and said, "Niklo, पांचों के पांचों निकलो."
That's where
Why?
stories and all comes in. Everyone has every story
Exactly.
to discuss.
Engineering vivas are the best.
Best. Correct. So
Your self-respect gets trashed every time.
I think that's why we are able to, see people writing because we can take criticism in our own stride now.
We can
Very true.
smoke that in a puff like anything.
So both of you have published with flipping pages. So, how
Right.
was your experience working with them, and what are your takeaways from their publishing method and the
Sure.
way they do things? So, either of you can start.
Yeah,
Kumar,
Saxena,
I
please,
think,
you start.
yeah. Okay.
Acha, who is starting? Tell me first.
Okay, okay. Let me share my experience. When I
Yeah,
was
because
looking
I
for
have a long
publisher, as I
story.
said.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I have a
So
long
I
story.
think
That's
I've
why.
discussed with Sid some time back. I think I would love to hear your story.
Oh, so my story. Okay. So see, I got introduced to Tushti 4 years back. Okay, like when my first novel came, and I asked her to do some PR activity for my book. And that time, she was very busy. She was a very busy girl. Even today, she is. She is. But that time, she was a lot, and I used to fear talking to her because she was like, "हाँ, अच्छा, हो जाएगा." And I was like, "बच के रहना है, ठीक है?" So I always had this mental image that she is a very strict girl. Okay, and what happens is I was out of the industry for 3 years, and I was trying to come up back. And in last year, in 2019, I just messaged her on Messenger that, "Hey Tushti, do you remember me? I just had a few questions." And the way she entertained me, the way she talked to me, was rejuvenating for me. Because you don't remember people. Don't remember people. People have span. They talk, they forget.
Right, right.
But she remembered me. She talked to me, and she said that, I have faith in your writing because I know your writing style. That gave me a lot of confidence. And she also said that, these are the current trending topics that you can think on writing. And that also segmented what I wanted to write. And
Yeah, yeah. Continue.
when I was about to, I was ready with my manuscript. Then I talked to one of my very first reviewers. I don't know if you know Sarat sir, Sarat Babu. Uh, so he actually said to me that you should go for Tushti. And that is when I approached Tushti, and she was very welcoming. And I said that I would rather work with a publisher who is very welcome than with any other, because you need a lot of support, and that support she provides. And I can go on praising her for 30 minutes and won't stop. But Saxena, now it's your turn.
You know, just not the name, just not the engineering degree, just not being author. We have also this similarity of approaching to the publisher. I also approached Tushti through Messenger, and she also, the way she handled this project, and the way she, took it so close to her heart, and came out with fabulous ideas, to make this book out. It's just amazing. I just have no words. You have already explained it. That's
Yeah,
what our story.
that's an interesting story. How people came to work with the with flipping pages, and
Right.
how that has come out. Because I have read a couple, more than 3-4 books with FP now, and they have
Right.
actually come up with interesting stories, and they're quite different. Matlab, the
Yeah.
selection of the stories and everything, that's very different.
Right.
While I'm yet to pick up a paperback from them, I have not picked up a paperback from them because of
Okay.
lockdown. Could not
Yeah.
get them. But I am sure Samir has got his paperback, so I would love to know his experience of how has the paperback turned out.
Look, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
that's
the cover and the feel. It's just amazing, and the work they have done with the team, editor, the uh, help
Right.
helping
The
hand
entire
with
team.
the cover designer and everything. They have just been so professional throughout, and the way I got this book, it's just amazing feeling. I can't explain.
No, we cannot just call Tushti multitasker. She's an exponential tasker. The
Yeah,
way
and
she
she pushed her
manages
limits.
everything.
She pushes her limits.
so.
I hope
So
to you get my paperback soon, but I'll
Yes.
want a signed copy, Samir Saxena. I want a signed copy.
I'll send you, sure, sure. It's my honor to give you a signed copy. Samir signing for Samir.
Samir signing
Yeah,
for Samir.
that is also a good session we can have.
We
Yeah,
can have a
Of
live
course.
signing.
Yeah,
yeah,
we
we
can
can have a
have
live
like that.
session.
That's a good
Or
idea.
maybe some what we can do is I can maybe come to your place and then we can sign for
Oh,
each
most
other.
welcome. The way you mentioned about the author. He's from Dehradun, right? And he lived in Dehradun, you know, and you can visit Uttarakhand, and it's a peaceful place
Yeah,
everywhere.
I've been to
Uh,
Uttarakhand. I've been to Uttarakhand.
so most welcome. We'll have a session together.
Sure.
We have another session planned then definitely.
I said you are most welcome. You both are
And
welcome.
yeah, Sid
We
is
can
also
have
Definitely.
together.
Sid will be hosting again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for this wonderful session. It was great hosting both of you and knowing both your stories. They're very, very similar. Uh, Congratulations, Samir, for your book that has come out, Sunset by the River, and is
Saxena.
getting amazing reviews. And it's a
Thank
wonderful
you.
story. Samir, your book, Murder Before Carnival, is out in the first week of October. And I am sure it's going to be as amazing because I've seen the blurb, I've seen the cover, and with this conversation, the book actually sounds interesting with the work that you have put in.
Right.
So, best of luck for your book, both of
Thank
you.
you, Sid, for this amazing session.
It was
Really,
a pleasure.
Thank
it
you.
was
It was a
fun.
pleasure. It was
It was
Chalo.
nice.
definitely fun. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank
Let's
you.
okay.